All right, that's the best angle I could get. So we're gonna go for top dead center. Front or back doesn't matter. Whichever one I start with is that's the one I'm gonna start taking my push rods out of. I didn't drain the oil, so I'm gonna run it in reverse so I don't keep pumping oil into my my cam chest. So I'll start with the back. So I'm just waiting to feel compression coming up, pressure in this hole. There it goes. Let me pause this. All right, so got top dead center on the rear piston. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side and take the push rods out. I guess I'll show you guys that. Okay, so you don't technically have to go top dead center before you take the push rods out. I do. Just to get pressure off the push rods. I'm just taking my screwdriver and going into the fins of the jugs, getting some leverage. Alright, so all I did was I hooked a paper clip underneath my tubes of push rod tubes, right? And rubber bands onto a bolt on my rocker box. Okay, hold those out the way. So like I said, top dead center, I don't got no pressure on my push rods right now. The valves are closed, okay? I like taking the push rods off with valves closed, so I don't have any tension, force coming down on the push rods. But like I said, you really don't have to do that unless you're taking a bolt cutter and cutting off stock push rods. Then you do want to get on top dead center. Okay, anyway, all right, so 2 1/2-inch wrenches. Break my jam nut like that. Run it down. Uh, 5/16. I'm gonna run my push rod up, closing the my push rod, shortening it so I can take it out. Okay, I'm gonna pause the camera, get back when I get these push rods off. Alright, so I went ahead and did top dead center for the front piston. Now I'm just gonna pop these keepers off and raise up, lock up my my tubes so I can get to the push rods. Okay, so this paper clip with a rubber band. Just hook the rubber band to rocker head bolt. Like that. Alright, so I'm going to pause it while I take off these push rods. Alright, push rods are out. Now we're going to take the timing cover off. Take the cam cover off. So I mentioned earlier that I didn't drain the oil because I just put, right before I got hit, I got T-boned. That's why I'm doing all this work. But right before that happened, I just put brand new oil in, red line oil, and so I'm not going to drain the oil, but I will. Oil's going to come out of this cam chest, and I could deal with losing that. So every time I turn the engine over, the motor over manually, we got to turn it over in reverse so the oil pump doesn't keep pumping oil into the cam chest. All right, so I'm going to take these off. I'm going to push pause, take this whole cover off, and then we'll go back. We'll get back to you. Timing marks. Oh.
Did you ever record? No, you did not. That's why I was standing there.
That's so funny.
Now you're recording.
Okay, now I'm recording. So this is a S&S Reed valve. It's a breather valve. It's called a Reed valve. It's what I had in there. And I don't like it. I didn't get as much volume of oil flow like I did with just a standard plastic stock Harley Davidson breather valve. I could tell because I purge the old oil when I do oil changes, and this thing seriously took easily 2 minutes to start purging oil out. Maybe it works better at high RPMs, high speed, high pressure, but not real happy with it, so I went with a standard S&S breather valve. It's a pretty cool idea, but it ain't for me anyway. And this thing's like $120. So this dog washer, this one, you can put it in this way or this way. This way would be backwards. This way would be the correct way. This flat would run parallel with the case, with the bottom of the jug there. That's one way to tell. It's clearance for your back, for your lifter. When your lifter comes up and down, it's clearance. Okay. If you had it this way, your lifter could possibly crash. Okay. Alright, so went ahead and took the tappet block bolts off. 12-point 1/4 inch. Use a long one like this. Don't use the short ones. So I'm gonna knock this block. You just gotta tap it with a like a dead blow hammer, a rubber hammer, and break it loose off its gasket, and then clean the gasket off. Okay, off of that surface. I don't know if you can see that, but let me see. So I'm going to use a razor blade to clean all this off. Okay. We'll be pulling the inner cam bearing. Got to have special tooling for that. So we'll start with all that. We'll put you on pause, and I'll get you back when I get the tappet blocks off. Show you how to inspect the lifters. What we're gonna do next. All right, stand by. Alright, getting ready to pull this inner cam bearing. Yeah, so the bearing doesn't look bad at all. But anytime you replace a cam, good idea to replace the bearing. It's only like a $10 part, $20 part. Okay, we're going to press this new bearing in. Writing faces you. The other side is tapered. It's got a nice radius on it. That radius side goes in. Flat side facing out. The writing facing out. Put some assembly lube. So, what's going to happen? You see there's the inner bearing. I'm just going to press it in with this special tooling. And run it down till it seats. Like that. Alright, 22 bearings in. Alright, so this is my old thrust washer. 66 thou. 66 thou. And that's the old cam. The old cam. I put the thrust washer on the cam when I'm measuring, so it gives me a better surface. Gives me a better surface to measure off of, because this end of this shoulder has a big radius, so I won't get a consistent reading. So I put the thrust washer on. I got 3 inches and 88 thou, 87 and a half. 3 inches, 87, 88. So let's see what the difference is with the new cam. Old thrust washer, new cam. 3 inches, 86, 85, 86. 86, 3 inches, 86, 88. So if I use, so right off the bat, I'm gaining 2 thou of end play. So that's 2 thou of end play just between the two cams. So it's 50, 66. This shim, 66, 66, 66. So because my cam is 2 thou short, that's opening up my end play by 2 thou, plus the new dog washer is 61, 61, 61. The old dog washer is 62, 62, 62. So my new dog washer is 1 thou thinner, so now I've just opened up my end play by 3 thou, just with the dog washer and the new cam. End play's opened up 3 thou. So I want to try and suck that up with a thicker thrust washer. 66 was the original. 76, 9, 70. Okay, so here's a 70 thou thrust washer. That's a 70 thou thrust washer. So if I use this 70 thou with this new dog washer at 61 and the new cam, that brings me all the way back to my 10 thou is what I'm shooting for, about 10, 12 thou end play. This is a 60. So we're not going to use that. Alright, so I've just sucked everything all back up right to where it was with this combination right here. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to put this old cam away, my old thrust washer and dog washer. I don't want to get them mixed up. Put you on pause. I'll be right back. So just gonna put the cam bearing in there. I don't care about timing right now. I'm just checking for end play. Like I said, I don't care where it's timed at right now. This is the old gasket. This old gasket is like 2 thou thicker than the James gasket that I'm going to use. So we'll take that into account when we measure end play. Stick your bolt in, go in reverse. You turn in reverse. You hear that click? That click. Oh, you didn't hear it that time. There it is. So those clicks are the threads dropping into place. It's good practice to do that, especially with when you're screwing into aluminum. Steel bolts into anything aluminum. If you don't take time to do that, it'll be easy to cross the threads and mess some shit up. Alright, listen. That click, that was the threads dropping in. Beginning of the threads on my bolt to the beginning of the threads in the hole. So I know I'm lined up, I'm good. Anyway, if it's hard to fucking thread in, then you should stop. Something ain't right, right? I don't know if you can hear that. That sound, that tick, 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 tick. That's about the sound of what 10 thou. I know it sounds weird, but you know, from a machinist standpoint, it's about what the sound of 10 thou sounds like when you're wiggling it back and forth. If it was 50 thou of end play, you would hear like a click, 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 click. It wouldn't be a tit, 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 tit. You know what I'm saying? If it was 5 thou, you wouldn't be able to perceive it. Okay? So I'm just reaching in there now and checking my breather valves. Okay. So, my cam all the way forward. We'll start with 10 thou, see what that feels like. 10 thou shim. Feeler gauge. So 10 thou is just barely loose. To 12 thou. And 12 thou's got quite a bit of drag. It's got drag. Okay, so the James gasket is 2 thou thinner, so I'm at 12. The James gasket's gonna drop down to 10 thou once I torque everything down. Probably another couple, 3 thou. So I'll be at like 7 thou of end play, which is beautiful. So anyway, I'm gonna unbutton all this and prepare these surfaces for gaskets. Oh yeah, we'll do when I come back, we'll do the inspection on the lifters, what you're looking for. So I'm gonna take this off, push pause, come back, and we'll look at the lifters. All right, so what I didn't show off camera, forgot to show you guys, is I knocked the cam seal out of the cam cover before I checked end play, and I just knocked it out through the inside of the cam, right through there. And after I checked end play and took this cover off, then I pressed the new seal in. And basically, the seal, so that's the front of the seal, which you'd be looking at from the front side of the cover. On this back side, it's got a leading edge, it's tapered to lead you into the bore. So I just started it off into the bore of that cam cover, and then I knocked it in with this 1 3/16 socket. It's bigger than the diameter of the seal. That way I can knock it in and set it flush into my cam cover. Tappet blocks. Tappet blocks keep your lifters specific to each bore in the tappet block. This is the rear tappet block, so I left the tappets. I'm not going to swap them around, in other words, or throw these in the front tappet blocks, right? So main inspection is just make sure it's not all galled up down there in the bore where these tappets ride up and down, and check these surfaces here, this machine surface and this machine surface. Those are the mating surfaces. Nothing else touches the bore. Okay, but what you're checking for is galling, pitting, galling meaning scratches, metal on metal wear is what you're looking for. Check the bearing, make sure it freely spins, and there's not any twist to the bearing. A little bit of up and down movement is okay, like about a thou of movement. If you have any of those conditions, what we talked about, what you're checking for, then you want to replace those. The hole on this tappet faces inwards. See, there's the hole, faces inwards to the center of the tappet block. Same thing with this one. It's got a port for oil feed, faces inwards. If you were to look down into this tappet block, you would notice that there's a hole in there and on the other side. So those holes are facing each other. Okay. If you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. Oil's still going to flow through, but you know, if you're trying to do things to the best of your ability, that's what you're looking for. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Oil's going to flow through no matter what. So I am going to get this surface, these two surfaces where the tappet blocks made up. This is a mating surface, this machine surface. So I'm going to prep these surfaces, get them oil free, clean of any gasket, old gasket material. We're going to put gasket cinch on these two surfaces, on this surface, on the gaskets, put the gaskets on the cases, and then we'll put the tappet blocks on. Once all that's prepped, I'll get back to you. There's no need to put that on camera. Anyway, in a minute. I'll do it over here so you can see what's going on. Cover gasket. This is the rear tappet block gasket. All that buzzing is my security camera. Every time somebody walks by, it starts buzzing. Not that I can't feel them walk behind me. Walking along, we got all kinds of street walkers. This is the front tappet block gasket. Pig snot. All right. Rear tappet block. Front tappet block. like the James gaskets, they fucking line up beautifully. All right. Double check the timing. Alright, that part looks good. That part looks good. Just like that. Put some new chrome hardware. We have it all. Son of a bitch. And I had more hardware. Let me see somewhere else. Spare hardware box. Anyway, I'm gonna put you on pause while I get this hardware together. anyway, got the hardware selected. Button this cam cover up. Put the rear tappet block down. Damn, it's getting hot. So there's these little tapers that you can drop down into the bolt holes to align your tappet blocks. Be nice to have that. I've never had it, but I've never used it either. I've seen them though. I've seen them being used, and pretty cool, but I've never had to use them. So let me just show you something. That's the bolt hole. When I'm down, I'm trying to move the head. You can't perceive what I'm doing, but I've got this seated down and the bolt doesn't move. Okay, you got a threaded hole and a bolt going down in that hole. There's a 30 thou difference, 15 thou all the way around. So 15 thou of tolerance between this port and this port is not going to make or break you or me. I'm willing to accept that. I might not be exactly precisely dead nuts over that port, but it's I've never had a problem, so maybe someday I'll get that tool, but till then, not really tripping. So right now, like this, I would be able to wiggle my tappet block all the way around. There would be all kinds of play, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these bolts all the way down to where the shoulder gets to seat, to where the shoulder of the bolt gets to seat in the counterbore that's in the tappet block. So once I get in that counterbore, that tappet block doesn't have any more room, no more wiggle room. So I'm now I'm seated down. The shoulder of that bolt is seated down into the counter bore. And do the same thing here. I'm not snugging it up. I'm just getting the shoulder down into the counter bore. I'm using the shoulder of the bolt and the counter bore as locators, and I'm accepting a 15 thou tolerance. 15 thou, like I said, is the amount of space between the bolt and its hole. It could move 15 thou in any direction. It's not a whole lot. Oops. So I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna get these snugged up, and then I'll come back to you guys.